later on, mahatag na ko ninyo ang conclusion ni Batan. Unsay patos sa mga katekista karon. So, to begin, this is the historical view of the Christianization of the Philippines. Pero dili ko mo focus on the I will just give you the bird's eye view. Kaya kung ako give you detalye ang tanan, it's not enough 1 hour. It needs kanang episodes, magkinahanglan sa follow-up na meeting for that. So, let's start with the Philippines before the arrival of the gospel. So, wala pa na Christianize ang Pilipinas. So, ako masahon, in 2021, di ba kung nainundong mo, ang 2021, that is the celebration of the 500 years of the Christianity. Nag-celebrate taana. And this is we make history of this, and we build the milestone for the celebration of the years of Christianity. The Filipino faith has been tested through time and became known and recognized in the world. But aside from celebration, it is also reality that a lot is still to be improved in catechizing the young, for they expect more in the Catholic, on the church to be guide and companion. So they expect more from us, from the church. So kita mga Filipinos, we had a long history of very sharp and colorful religious experience and understanding and love for Jesus Christ. It has colored by experiences of pain, struggle, and of victory and celebration. And tungod niini, ang atong simbahan nag-research wherein past events are studied and related to the present karuna in the future time. Preparation for the purpose of reconstructing the past objectively and accurately. So, mawag karon daghan ang mga documents about the catechesis. They gather all pieces of information from the past and identify the trends which will be a tool for transformation and change for the better. Now, we address a question to all of us. Ako, I'm asking it to myself also. Having that faith, does that faith make any difference in our life and to our nature nowadays? Answer it for yourself. I don't ask. Answer me. Then I add some questions. How did the Christian faith flourish in the Philippine soil? How did it all begin? What was the scenario during the time before the gospel of Jesus Christ came into our land? So, unsa kaha, no? Kanya ito, wa pa ang mga Espanyol na abot. Naa na ba ni ang atong mga Katoliko? Wala pa. Siguro, of course, wala pa. Kaya pa man naabot ang gospel diri. But before the arrival of the missionaries, the Filipino people already believed in the supreme being, such as the existence of Bathala. Diba? We know that in history, kanang may kapal, sa Tagalog, may nagitawag, Bathalang may kapal. Pero sa Bisaya, wala ko kadungan kay na mga modern naman ta, millennium, laon ang tawag nila for Bisayan, and they call it for the ancient being. Muna ang mga tiguang na ito sa una. Unya sa mga Ilocano, they call it kabunian. This is a God in every village, mountain, river, reef, even rainbow, and the other natural things. So, kada provinces, in every languages na they have, na sila ilang gitawag nalan sa ilang kanang supreme being. But aside from the belief in the supreme being, Filipinos already practiced before polytheism. Ang tawag sa polytheism, gods, no?
Many gods.
Daghan, Ginoo. Or believing in many deities, Ginoo. For they believe that there is a God in every village, mountain. May mga naidili mo nato diha, kaya mga kahoy-kahoy. Sa mountain, river, reef, even rainbow, and other natural things. Mga katinuhuan. Pero moreover, the worshiping sa mga Pilipino sa una, they also worship the spirits such as the Anitos, di ba? Anitos or Diwatas, which the primitive people call for the good spirit, is very evident for they treat spirit as messengers daw, messengers to Bathala. Ha? Ano ako din ni Karon? They call this as Bathala who sent them to help, as help on earth. Early people in the Philippines had a worldwide and view and beliefs of their own before the Catholic missionaries came to the Philippines. They have no scriptures or hierarchy sa atong simbahan. Wala pa na nila. And wala po sila founder. So, katagra. Kanya-kanya sila kung sa tinuturuan. They believe in myths, proverbs, custom, codes, and conduct in lieu of the sacred scripture. Okay, ilang part. Then, next, ang beginning sa propagation sa faith, pag-abot na sa mga Espanyol. So, the Christianization of the Philippines began through the little yet persevering attempts of the missionaries from Spain. Diba? Matagin sa amin, Andy Mauna, the expedition of Magellan, diba? And then, he is a Portuguese explorer, lead the initial establishment of the Christian faith in the Philippines. Sa March 16, 1521, kini sila niabot sa Humonhon Island of Limasawa. Ako sa ito, akong thinking sa una, dito sa Cebu Laguna. PDI, dito dahil sa Limasawa. Then, historical first mass, dito na hitabo. March 31, 1521. After this, si Magellan ning ari sa Cebu, April 7, 1521. Mauna na sa history nato. And met the kinglet nga si Raha Umabon, o ang iyang asawa nga si Juana, and both received the Christian faith through baptism. So sila ang unang nabunyagan ng Pilipinas. But the conquest and colonization of the Philippines started earnestly katong nagsunod sa iya si Miguel Lopez na together with 350 soldiers. Ingani sila niabot, bit-bit na niyang 350 soldiers. Unya, ni-arrive sila April 27, 1565. Unya, conquered sila sa Manila 1571 na, meaning, abot sila sa Cebu, stay put sila for a while sa Cebu, and then yung atog Manila, na-conquer nila in 1571, and then, in there, dito na sila nagtukod sa ilang colonization. So, sa Manila, ang center of colony nila. And then, si King Philip II, na kita niya na si Legazpi is the right man for a peaceful conquest of the Philippines. Nga naman. Kaya the first day yung ipadala si Magellan, gugut man to, matay man to, kaya man to yun, fight. Nya. Pag ikaduhan niya padala si Legazpi, wala may nahitabo, peaceful man. Yan itawag si Legazpi na a great pacifier of the Philippines. He became famous by using not the sword of the conquerors, but the cross of missionary. So, muna iyahang kuan ni King Philip. Pero kani si Legazpi died a year after the abot siya Manila. Then, ang missionaries, ang unsa ilahan ng nahimo sa ilahang apostolic and evangelization. So, let's see, unsa na ang nahitabo. The primary reason of the conquest of the Spirit to the East is to proclaim and spread the Christian faith. Atong pagtuo kay to invade lang, no? Pero, bit-bit naman nila ang mga missionaries. So, to Christianize here, to propagate the evangelization. The prayers, kani prayers, mauni sila ang gitawag ng mga, sa Italian pa, frate din sila. Frate or fray. I don't know how to pronounce it, fry or fray.
Frate totally, di ba brotherhood?
Oh, brotherhood na sila. The prayers or the missionaries were the main protagonists of the Christianization in the Philippines. Nga, dayon, there are different religious congregation and also some secular clergy. The education of faith during the Spanish colonial rule was within the jurisdiction of the church na. Dili na sa mga kwan. Katong mga soldiers, murag ka na una-una na ko, they are only for protection in case lang na daghan sila. Then the missionaries established many institutions. Nagbarugan na ang lain na eskwelahan, di ba? As we notice nowadays, naapa. Institution of learning all over the country as soon as they inaugurated the missionary evangelization in the archipelago. The first missionary, there are 5 missionaries na niabot sa Pilipinas. Ang first, is missionaries to come in the Philippines in 1565, Agustinian. So mauna na sa Santo Niño karon. In the expedition nga, si Miguel Lopez na ang niabot. And then they settled in first in Cebu and constructed small church, a convent in honor of Santo Niño de Cebu. So obviously, mauna na karong basilika. Cebu became the cradle of Christianity in the Philippines. Years after, when Manila was established in 1571 by Legazpi, he donated a piece of land to the Agustinians, which led them to build a monastery, better known in the history as San Agustin de Manila. Mauna siya. One of the jewels of the colonial architecture in the country. Nga ang nisunod nila sa mga Agustinian is the Franciscan. Nangabot si Franciscan, they arrived in Manila in 1578. Unya, unsay nabuhat sa Franciscans, they were noted with many outstanding institution of charity. So, start na ang charity nito. Daghan na silang di pasulod sa eskwelahan, di shoulder, mga scholar kunuhan. And then, ikatulong niabot ang Jesuits. Came to the country in the company of the first monarch. Uyog na nila ang first bishop of the Philippines. Isa man si Domingo de Salazar in 1581. For some time, they lived in Lagyo. I don't know this place. A district between Ermita and Malate, Manila. Later, settled down sila sa Intramuros. Una karon na sa Intramuros, tawag nila Puerta Real. I don't know, naaba kaya ako umupunta na Intramuros. And then this is the compound where the Pamantasan ng Manila is presently located. Una karon na ang Pamantasan University. Onya, dayon, located, dahil Samar, Leyte, Bohol as their main field of missionary activity. So, ang Jesuits name, explore na sila to the islands, different islands. Samar, Leyte, Bohol, muna ilahang missionary field. Then the Jesuits also put up Catechetical Institute in Tugbawan, Iloilo. Eventually founded an institute of higher learning, karon din Universidad de San Ignacio, who dominated the educational system of colonial Manila until mid-18th century. Wala ko ka-identify kung saan kayo. Nag-change na ba yung name ang uban? Kanang De La Salle, originally, dili ba yan na siya De La Salle? Diba, sister? Ang De La Salle sa kuana sa mga missionaries na before. Na-transform na siya. And then, sunod, ang ikaupat nga ni Abot, ang Dominican. Came to the Philippines. Naan naman ni Daan si Domingo de Salazar ang atong bishop. On July, I think, si Bishop, siya na ang nagdala ng Dominican. Abot sila July 25, 1587. During the feast of St. James the Apostle, ang money patron sa Spain, mo po'y pagsulod nila sa Manila. Nga, on that year of their arrival, after founding the mother house in honor of Santo Domingo, they went on various provinces in the Philippines. And dinhi, ang Christianization na accelerate na siya. So, daghan na Christianize. Then, ang pinakalas na nakahatag of major contribution sa atong Christianization is the Recollects. No? Kanang mga
Recoletos.
Recoletos na siya. Muna na sa Jose Recoletos. When the Jesuits were expelled from the Philippines, the missions in Mindanao and Bohol were taken over by the Recoletos. Wala na. Kani another story nga nung na-expel din sila, pero fast forward ta, these 5 major religious congregations shed the light of the faith in the Philippines during 300 years in the Spanish regime. But aside from these religious prayers, our religious groups also came to help in the propagation of the faith, such as the Father of San Juan de Dios in 1641. Gayon ang Vincentians, mga Budnapod, and then ang Capuchins sa 1886, and then the Benedictines. So So, nagana, mura na yun, nangabot na mga religious community din sa Pilipinas. One of the greatest achievements of the early missionaries was precisely the creation of the new civilization in the Philippines. Naku, hindi kayo sila natabang sa atong civilization. Unya, typical towns of common today in our country were in there is a plaza. Mao nagkita sa ato na bisan sa context niya. Mga mo gid typical jud in every provinces you go, there is a plaza, kanang circle, no? Ilahan na sa mga Espanyol. The church, the town hall, the school, usually kanang mga circle na ang atbang diha ang simbahan. I notice sa Bohol, plaza nila, and then atbang ng cathedral nila. So, mga typical mga Spanish, sa during the Spanish era, mao din na ilang mga constructions nila. The Franciscans were also notable to have initiated the escuelas de niños, educate and train the children of the day. So, murag, kaning Franciscan dako kaning natabang, nagsila yun ang naka-explore sa mga natives, sila ang nakatudlo. Okay? They learned fast the language, sa atoa, native language. Then, let's go to the Catholic Church and education in the Philippines during the unsa na ang education at that time nila. Some historians, the religious missionaries came to evangelize the Philippines through opening of the schools as they considered this as means to win souls for Jesus Christ, to form learners in the Christian doctrine and good conduct. So mauna, na naatay good manners and right conduct sa una. So that is part of the curriculum of the school. As they, nag-tukod na sila sa mga eskwelahan, naananatahan. In the beginning, the children were satisfied only in oral teaching, for there were no books during those times. When few books came for instructions, the religious also trained some bright, perceptive Filipinos who would teach the basic, how to read, write, count, and above all, the Christian doctrine. I remember ngayon si Mama na during that time, even grade 4, when you reach grade 4, we can teach na. Kaya ang sa unang mong board, ang essential is to teach the children how to read, write, and count. Wala na mga course degree. One of the great innovations during the early years of the evangelization in the Philippine island is teaching of the faith in the native language, Franciscan Islam, particularly in Tagalog, aside from the Spanish, and to come up with a catechism for instruction of the faith to the people. Si Fray Juan Plasencia, Franciscan Yapon, mauna ni siya ang compose sa grammar and vocabulary. Finally, he translated in Tagalog the catechism of what we later call known as Doctrina Christiana. So, mauna siya ang catechism book sa unang time, ang Doctrina Christiana. It is an effort to adopt a uniform or standard text and method in catechizing the Filipinos. This was published by the Dominican in their printing press in Binondo in 1593. If you notice, if i-google ninyo, ang tanang makita niyo yung Doctrina Christiana, lagi nakasuot sa was when was published and printed, 1593. Ang language na print nila, na print out is Tagalog, Spanish, and Chinese. This is the first ever book published and printed in the Philippines. Kung sa isulod sa Doctrina Christiana, it teaches the basic prayers such as the Our Father, Hail Mary, Salve, or the Holy Creed, the Creed, the Apostles' Creed, ito ako, and then the 14 Articles of Faith, as well as the 7 Sacraments, 7 Capital Sin, 7 Corporal, and 7 Spiritual Works of Mercy, 10 Commandments, 5 commands of the church, kana mo na gitawag nato 5 precepts karon of the church, and then the act of contrition of na 33 questions in the faith. So, mauni siya ang way of teaching nila sa una sa Christianization sa unang panahon. So, murag na-pray pa ko niya na kay First Communion, what they teach us only the kanang basic prayer again, di ba? Kay mao may naandan. And then ang katekista sa unang panahon, they don't have a formal training. No formal education. Basta lang ang kamao ka, mga just a basic prayer, you can teach na sa katekismo. And then, unsa man ang education in the Philippines during the American rule. Hindi na ta, naon siya mi. Pag-abot sa mga Amerikano, made sweeping changes in the educational system in the Philippines. If during the Spanish colonial rule, the teaching of faith and religion is required and mandatory. Kauna sa mga Espanyol ni. Ang sa'y nahitabo sa mga Amerikano, it was banned during the time of American public school system. Only the minister or parish priest in that certain pueblo or a certain public school situated either by person or by a designated teacher or catechist to teach religion or catechesis for half an hour for 3 times a week. Per week na 3 times per week, provided that the parents of the student willfully gave their consent in written form to allow their children to attend the said religion classes. So, giban, pero ang ilang gitagag permission ra, katurang mga pare o katong mga trained cateches na makatudlo. Unya 3 times a week kasad. Sa mga public school niha, yeah, they are not, only the, but no public school teacher allowed to teach religion. Wala. At that time, sa I think so. Mura. And then, the arrival of big number of Protestant, mauni yung gayon na ang nagiban because of the Protestant preachers from the United States. For around 600 trained American teachers aboard in the vessel Thomas. Atong Thomas na vessels nila nga ning arena sa Pilipinas, American-style education ni abot na, dominated the country. Then, the prohibition of the teaching of religion in the public school system resulted a great conflict between the Catholic Church and the American civil government. If you remember sa history, di ba, ang American government sila na ang at kisa ganito ang first president at that time, mura Commonwealth man siguro na nga time, no?
Manuel Alquedo.
Yes, Manuel L. Quezon, very good. Siya. Yeah. The superintendent during that time in Manila even reached the point of ordering the prohibition of devotion and removing school crucifixes, religious emblems, mga pictures na mga imahin, sacred pictures, etc. Obviously against the Christian faith in the interest of the Protestantism. So sila na yun ang dominate sa country. One problem also on the part of the native priests is that they were not yet knowledgeable in their English language. Muna na problema kaya dili makapara, makacounter ang mga pare sa unang kanang Espanyol because they do not know the language of English. That is why they cannot penetrate fully in the public school system to preach and propagate the faith, for there were no available and trained catechists during those times for the absence of catechetical conditions. Wala man. Sadly, due to poverty and financial difficulties in the Filipino families, they have no choice but to transfer their children to the public schools, which at the end resulted the alienation between the Filipinos and the Catholic Church. So, mao na to, na makaeskwela sa kanang Catholic, sa kanang Catholic school, ang mga dato na yung mga pobre na punta na sa public school. The challenge continues to persist in the Catholic Church in aiming to propagate the faith. The compromise offered by the Philippine Commission under tough administration, tinundan ka, history, tough administration during the American time na oh yes, failed due to the hostile attitude of the Masons, pasok na din si Masons, the Freemasons, and a greasy Protestant denomination that influenced the Department of Education. So, apil na ang DepEd. In the church, The church in response maintained the campaign in 1936 to make possible the real implementation of the provision on religious instructions in 1935 Constitution, which states in Article 13, Section 5, the optional religious instruction service shall be maintained in the public schools as now promulgated as law. Napanihangtod karon sa
Yes,
atong
na.
Constitution.
Sa Constitution.
In 1938, the Congress passed the bill requiring the curriculum of all public schools to include a subject on good manners and right conduct, or the character building with excuse or exemption to some religious organization in their children to attend religious instruction by their own denomination. Sadly, the said bill was vetoed by President Manuel Quezon. Ibababa niya on the ground that the bill was unconstitutional. The decision did not weaken the hearts of the Catholic Church hierarchy. Magaling kaya ni-fight din ang mga Katoliko sa una, ang mga pare. And many Filipino Catholics, Archbishop Gabriel M. Reyes of Cebu and other bishops of the ecclesiastical province made a pastoral statement that strongly disagreed the President Quezon's veto and assertion that the bill was not constitutional. After this action by the church hierarchy did not change the mind of the president. Pag ginausap ang una-unas president, he stand firm with siya ng decision. The efforts and the persistence of the church and a good number of educated Catholics prove that the Catholic Church was no longer willing to be a sitting target for the attacks by the adversaries of the faith. So we fight din nila after them. In fact, naana sa atong constitution karon, na-appeal na din siya. Diba? Muna yatong ihatag sa DepEd karon na kita na mandatory na magtudlo ka og religion sa public schools.
Tungod ani.
Tungod ani nga bill. And then, unsa naman ang Pilipinas after the Catechetical na naman nanggawasan na ni Catechetical reforms in the Philippine Catholic education. Si Archbishop Michael O. Doherty, kani siya American siya bishop, expressed the great need for Catholic action in the Philippines. First, the teaching of catechism. Catechism na particularly to the young attending school where religious instruction is not given. It is also essential to form and train groups of catechists to impart this life-giving knowledge to the rising generation. As a matter of fact, times of adversity and affliction are often more fruitful for religion than prosperous and happy times. Fast forward ko. In 1967, the good Archbishop gave permission to the Mother of Life Catechetical Center. So, naana din sa unang Catechetical Center to operate under the Notre Dame de Vie. Asa ni David? Manila ni? A secular institute. However, another problem with regards to catechetical program that relies on sole volunteerism is the rapid turnover of the catechist. Mao ni nakapadaw sa catechista. Volunteerism naman jud ang catechista. This was the Archbishop Jaime Cardinal Sin saw during his term in the Archdiocese of Manila. Sa iyang gihimo, then he ordered a great shift towards the professionalization of catechists. Which means the employment of paid catechists. Sa ato pa, siya na din ni Archbishop, siya na nagbuhan. Years after, 1979, sa Synod, Cardinal Sin founded the Archdiocesan Catechetical Office and gave mandate for a feasible remuneration system for the catechists. So, naana din mandate na dapat paid na ang catechista. Bayaran na. Pero, kinahanglan yun sa professional mag-study. Hindi lang pagkita lang yes.
In addition to that, when paid catechists, professional catechists, they usually have some training and have a diploma.
Yeah.
And then in the Archdiocese of Manila, you will have to apply from the Archdiocese and they will be the one to assign you.
Where siya na place?
diocese. But you are under the sa archdiocese. Dili
Sa school.
parokya.
Dili sa parokya?
Dili.
Oo. Centralized.
Centralized siya. Sila ang
Kaya ihatag na nila dito sa different parishes sa Thailand. Kaya sa una, parehas din sa Manila, sa Cebu, isa lang, Archdiocese of Manila lang. Karoon na may ng dioceses. So, ato na po sila sa diocese din sila. Ang diocese mo ay magpada, ang mga school, at ito. Kaya kanalitan kung taga Quezon City po, ang probability is ato po sa mga diocese na naa sa Quezon City. Pero parang murag na localize gihapon kay para po dili ka mag-visit sa travel, dili ka mag-visit sa pamasahe. Pero imagine sila, parang mura o teachers sa private school.
Mawito na nag-create ng grade F. So, after ani, mauna ni nanatay renewed catechesis and religious education. Tungod ana. So, after many years in the life and mission of the Church in the Philippines, it is still evident that the teaching of the faith or religious education must undergo renewal in order that the education of faith be enhanced or revitalized. And that catechists and religious educators have the spirit of zeal and joy in the proclamation of the life of Jesus Christ. So, mauna ni ato ang mandate sa katekista. It is part of the mission, mandate of Christ before He ascended into heaven, who told to His disciples to go therefore and make disciples of all nations. No? And baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always until the end of the world. Matthew 28,
Mausod na nasa to ang
verse
kuan.
19 to 20.
Sa ato ang guide. Nasa guide. Catechist guide.
Go for. So therefore, catechism is a great task of the church, for it is the practical and the practice or actual translation of the message of Jesus Christ. And now, in line with this, the church in the Philippines underwent a series of reflection and renewal in the catechism of religious institution. Dahil mauna dayon na namugla na ni siyang number 1 National Catechetical Directory for the Philippines 1984. Have you seen this? Wala. Na ako sa sakyan. Na ako.
Manang.
Ma-revise na ako. Dayon, na along with this kanang publishing the National Catechetical Directory for the Philippines, ni ang Second Plenary Council of the Philippines, ni ang hindi na nagdaghan na sila o mga renewal, mga meetings. This is it. Dari na ta sa National Catechetical Directory of the Philippines, ang edition 1984.
1984, dugay na dayana niya, no?
And this is the beginning. Nag-craft na sila ng promulgate sa First National Catechetical Directory for the Philippines entitled Maturing in Christian Faith. Noon ang title sa libro. Naa ang tanan catechesis din. Gikan sa credo, katong sa doktrina Kristiyana, kompleto na dito siya. And then, it is prepared. Ang nag-prepare ani katong ACCCE, Episcopal Commission on Catechesis and Catholic Education. Yeah. This is the response to the call of the renewal movements in the Universal Church